Boom, and we are live. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Everything Comics, and welcome to the March Madness Aftermath. Yes, that is right. We had the most incredible month of content that was dropped on us in the month of March, and we got to talk about it, y'all. And so I gathered up a bunch of my good friends so that we can go over this great stuff that dropped last month. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and let's just do this. So in the panel here, I'm just going to go ahead and announce a few people. We got Manuel from Chimorro Cinema. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Bob. I'm so excited to be here tonight. You don't even know, man.
Yeah, let's do this. Then we got Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers. Station, my friend. How you doing?
Station, I'm doing great. Excited to be here. Of course, I jumped at the opportunity to sit here with my homies and talk about some of the fantastic and maybe not so fantastic stuff that we got in March.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. And then my brother from another mother, Jason from Heroes to Icons. How you doing, my friend?
We are doing pretty good today. Glad to be here, even though I might have to cut out like the Roadrunner.
It's all right. It's all right. We're just happy to have you here, my friend, and just been looking forward to this all week. And then batting cleanup, we got my good buddy Bueller from Comics with Bueller. How you doing, my friend?
I signed the contract. I'm here.
You signed the contract but didn't drink the Kool-Aid. That's all right. All right. So basically, we had a lot of great content that was dropped this month, and we're going to get into the last couple episodes of WandaVision dropped. We have the Snyder Cut, the 4-hour movie that was dropped over on HBO Max. And then we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We have Invincible, which dropped. And then, of course, cleaning up the whole month, Godzilla Vs Kong. So we're going to talk about it all. Just really quick, I want to go ahead and acknowledge some people in the chat. There's a few people here already. We got my good friend Travis here. How's it going, my friend? Station, good to see you. And we got Jeff, that old comic smell. How's it going, my friend? Always good to have you here. And then my good buddy Fable, Station, my friend. Always good to have you here as well. We got the PCP Army representing tonight, which is awesome. And then we have, let's see here, we got Eric Rigsby. How's it going, Eric? Always good to see you. We'll have to get together again here pretty soon. And then here we got Geek Out with Roscoe. How's it going? Thank you for joining us tonight. We got Joshua Brown. How's it going, my friend? And then who else we got here? We got Damian Sleepy Reader 666. How's it going? Portland Comics crew representing tonight. And I'm sure we'll have more people coming in the chat. But let's just go ahead and get right into the content that dropped this month. And we're going to start with WandaVision. I figure we start with that because that was the first what we got at the very beginning of the month. And I'm going to have each one of us start with one of these properties and get the conversation going tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and start this one because WandaVision has a special place in my heart, and they pretty much did something I never thought that I would see on screen in my life, and so I'm definitely excited to talk about this one. So when WandaVision first came out, there were I think I had varying feelings about it. I wasn't so sure all of the sitcom stuff really worked so well. But as we went along, it just kept getting better and better. And then that last episode dropped, and it hit me emotionally. I thought it was an amazing finale, which really tied it all up. And since then, I've actually gone back and watched the whole thing from beginning to end. And I got to tell you, I think it's a masterpiece. I think it was very well done. I really enjoyed it. I think what they did for me that really touched me, of course, as you guys know, the comic book that got me into comics and made me a comic book fan for life was Avengers number 58, which is the Even an Android Can Cry issue. And, of course, they found a way to incorporate that into the MCU with that final scene between Wanda and the Vision. And as soon as that teardrop fell, I was in tears, y'all. It just hit me so hard because it was just something that, like I said, I never thought that I would see on screen, and they actually did it. I really was hoping they would have done it inside of Age of Ultron, but we didn't get that story. But they did finally find a way to do it, and so I really enjoyed it. I thought WandaVision had so many great elements. There was some comedy inside of there that I really dug. I liked the mystery that was building up. I like how they surprised me in the end. They didn't do anything that I was thinking that they would do. My predictions were all off the table wrong. But by the end of it, like I said, it grew on me as I was watching it. But by the time I rewatched it from beginning to end, I think it's just a fantastic, fantastic show. So those are my thoughts on WandaVision. Let's go ahead and get into this, guys. What do you think about it? Let's go ahead and start with Bueller. Bueller, what did you think about WandaVision this last month?
That was the one with the witch lady and the robot dude?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one.
It was all right. It was all right.
Just all right.
You know, I think we're all fans of that show. I think we're all fans of the second half of that show. Let's put it to you that way. The first half, I could care less about the whole TV thing and stuff like that. You know, the whole sitcom references got really old really quick. It wasn't really necessary. You could literally just watch the last 3 episodes of that TV show, and you'd pretty much know the whole story. I like the simple fact that she was the one that turned out to be the villain all along. Wanda was the villain all along. She was the one that caused all the problems. It wasn't someone else behind the scenes pulling the strings. It was her. She was the one going through grief, and she let her emotions take advantage of her, and she just decided to do whatever she wanted to do, which included hijack a whole city and town and hold people hostage, torture them mentally, physically. And it's just all right because she used to be an Avenger. And they're like, oh, it's okay, Wanda. No, you're okay. Just go along your day and just fly away. And that's pretty much what she does at the end. When really, she kidnapped and tortured hundreds and hundreds of people just because she had a rough day. And you know what? You know, we all have rough days. We don't get the okay to go do something like that. So she is the real villain. The other lady, the other witch lady, besides her killing like her mother and stuff way back in the day, like way back, like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, the only thing she did in this thing was give some guy called Boner superpowers for a few days. That's all she did. She gave Boner superpowers. He wasn't hating life. He was like, dude, I can run around really fast. I got superpowers. This is awesome. That's all she did. That's the meanest thing she did. And that's it. So Wanda is the villain. She caused everything. She's a horrible person. You know what? That is what it is. I'm sorry. We watch 8 episodes of a superhero become horrible. There you go.
But true to life.
I liked it. I liked it though. No, I want to say I liked it though. So there you go.
There we go. I think what we'll do is in the end is we'll ask what our final grade is for each of these, and then I'm going to go ahead and tally those, and I'll be posting them. But true to light, you're exactly right. She did turn out to be the villain, and one of the things that that they've constantly done in a lot of these newer properties is the villain doesn't know that they're the villain, and the way they spun that show, it was the first time.
Did we lose Bob?
Man, he's really good at the bit.
Yeah, he's really good. And this is a quick show. Everyone have a good day. I'll see you all Monday morning.
Yeah, okay.
Look at him. He's you don't know what to say. He's speechless. He wasn't expecting that. He's just like, seems like this has happened before.
Yeah, it's fine though. I mean, right? Like we could just go, right? I'm sure he was going to ask somebody else what they think.
Yeah, let's go. Robbie, go ahead. What's your take
on WandaVision?
Yes.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I actually like the sitcom stuff. Bueller. Oh, and we lost Bob. I actually like the sitcom stuff because what I thought, okay, there's been Marvel TV shows before, animated shows, and then of course the Netflix stuff and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But let's be honest, Kevin Feige doesn't care about any of those, right? So to him, this was like their first, like this is the MCU on the small screen. So to me, what they were doing was they were paying tribute to all the decades of small screen that have come before. And so I kind of liked it. I thought it was very beneficial that they released those first 2 episodes back to like at the same time, because that would have thrown a lot of people off. It was really smart of them to do all of episode 4 about Monica Rambeau and bring it back to that MCU feel. I loved it though. As far as an exploration of grief, as an exploration into the characters, not just Wanda, but Vision. They did some amazing work with the character of Vision here. And I love how he trips himself up with just like some kind of D's nuts joke or something. He's just like, I got to go think about this, right? But I really liked it. I thought that the MCU, it gets a bit cookie cutter at times, and it's jokey and it's fun and it's action. That's exactly what they should be. They're trying to take the comic book and you know, that excitement that we feel reading comics and put it on the screen. I like this because it broke that formula. It was a little bit different. It was still funny, but it got deep, it got resonant, and I just absolutely loved WandaVision. I think it's one of my favorite things that the MCU has done.
Bob just messaged me, said his internet went out, and he told us to keep the conversation going until he's back up and running. And I said Robbie's just making up a bunch of stuff. So
yeah, good.
You know, I think that I think you liked it a little bit more than I did, to be totally honest. I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it, but I just thought that I don't know. When it comes down to it, the Vision, you know, I had a problem with her being the villain, to be totally honest. I thought it was a kind of a weird thing to do for the show, for this character, to be an Avenger, to, you know, because you go back in her history or whatnot and everything that she's it's tragic. She almost has the same kind of tragic superhero type thing as like the DC Universe characters have, you know, because a lot of the DC Universe characters are like, they regret being superpower or whatnot. You know, they almost hate being a superhero or whatnot, you know?
Yeah.
And she kind of has that same thing to her. And
she was just losing everybody.
We're dropping like flies, man. You know, and so I thought it was just kind of a weird thing, you know, for them to just kind of base that whole series on the fact that it's just literally she's going through personal tragedy of Vision, who, I mean, I like Vision, but he is a robot. He is
the other thing too, is she doesn't necessarily realize that she's doing this, you know, like it's subconscious.
Yes, she does.
Well, and one thing I really do like is that before this show, if you didn't know anything about the comics and you just knew what you saw in the MCU, and I asked you what Wanda's powers were, you'd be like, oh, she does weird things with her fingers and mind control. You know, but like this time, like, no, she's the Scarlet Witch. And I love how they brought all that in. I love how it kind of crept in. And she started as a villain. Then she had this big heroic streak, but then she went a little mad in the 80s with the kids, remember? And then she had to get better. And then No More Mutants. And No More Mutants is the freshest thing on people's minds when they think of Scarlet Witch. That's what they were thinking the whole time. Like something's going on with Wanda. So I really like how they fleshed out her character, her emotions, and her powers. Like now we got the Scarlet Witch, and I'm ready. Plus, she was hot in that Halloween costume.
Yeah,
it was a little crazy because I think anybody that's younger than 35, 40 years old, the first couple of episodes probably would have thrown them for a loop. Like they probably had no idea what was going on until they went back with the origin with our father, with the bootleg videos and stuff like that, and being like, oh, okay, like that's where all of that came from. And I thought that was pretty cool with that. And I didn't really consider her a villain. I mean, you know, you talk about people, she didn't have any grief therapy after Infinity War and all of that. And it's like when you lose somebody that you love, and I mean, she was just ridiculously tragic anyway with the death of Paige.
Half the world lost who they love.
Locked her up in Civil War. She had a lot of issues, you know what I mean? And it was very comedic and kind of boring in the beginning. And then when it started getting heavy into the MCU stuff, and then they showed her extreme grief and how she actually had a psychological break. And that's what caused it. So, you know, don't be too hard on her, Bueller. I mean, in the beginning, she kind of didn't know that she was doing it because she kind of tricked herself. And then when things started going awry, and as she fixed it, it was like a dope addict that just was like, I'm going to keep getting high no matter who I hurt. You know what I mean?
I like that point, Jason, a lot, because it's the same thing that counselors and, that people see every day, this kind of stuff, like people having a very difficult time dealing with trauma and tragedy. And we're just showing it on a grander scale because these are superpowers. And I love that. I thought that was, I think Bueller's a bit harsh on Wanda as well, but
I mean, by the third episode, she knew what was going on. I mean, she
what about Tony creating Ultron? What about Tony creating Ultron, bro? Should we be like, oh, he's the villain of that movie?
What? I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said, yeah, only Bob can let Chimorro on. So he's like, well, I'm stuck out here. I was saying, what about Tony Stark? He creates Ultron in Age of Ultron. So is he a bad guy? Yeah, I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
That's a robot. That's a totally different thing. Wanda is an actual person, okay? And I mean, yeah, half the world just experienced tragedy. Half the world died. Everyone's going through some shit, right about that time. So that half the world didn't take over a town and choke people when they said, please let us go. And then she proceeds to assault them and choke them because she can't take it, And in the third episode, she walks out of the dome and confronts the military. She knows what she's doing. She's like, this is my place or whatnot. So it's not like this is like a secret and she can't control it. She knows it from the very beginning. She's just crazy. Chicks be crazy.
You're right. She is a little bit insane. If you're familiar with The Matrix, when Trinity was looking for Neo and she went into hell to attack the Merovingian, he said how love is so familiar with insanity. And the love that she had for Vision and the loss just drove her insane. And really, at the end of it, who had the power to stop her? Who was going to stop her?
Herself.
Vision took off. Monica Rambeau really doesn't know what her powers can do. And it's just like, I'm going to put my hoodie on and just walk away because I dare you.
Well, Vision wasn't even real. It was just a thing of her imagination. I mean, she manifested him, but it wasn't like it was, she from her love or her memory or whatnot, she manifested Vision, for herself, and that's a nice thing to be able to do. If you can do that, then you're doing all right. Most people can't do that. As a matter of fact, I don't know anybody who can do that. It'd be kind of a nice thing. But yet she did that and still was having a rough day. And she had 2 imaginary children. I mean, give me a break. She compensated really a lot for what she lost. Is Bob here yet?
And she's responding to what she learned watching those sitcoms, wanting this family, this suburban home life, this where you feel safe and comfortable and loved, right? And I get what you're saying, Bueller, but at the same time, I think they're just trying to deal with actual trauma and how it affects people, but on a grand superhero scale. And Agatha was a bit of a villain too, because she wanted to steal Wanda's powers, and it wasn't to heal the world. You know what I'm saying?
You don't know that. We'll never know. She's just some mindless person now that she duped again.
Well, another cool thing about it was, even though all the Mephisto stuff didn't happen to there's everybody had these crazy theories and it didn't all pan out, but wasn't it cool to have a show again where week to week we were all talking about what we thought could possibly be going on and being actually engaged in it? That was pretty freaking cool. It's not like with Falcon Winter Soldier, you're just who's the power broker? That's the biggest question right now. But this is one that because of the way it was set up, it was very, and a lot of times those can be disappointing to a lot of people, but this is definitely a show that kept getting better and better.
Well, I know Bob had many theories on everything. Just stacks and stacks of who people were and who was on the phone and who's in the computer and who's making this. And they're going to show up. I'm like, God, give me a break, dude.
He's buying the first appearance of Wonder Man like crazy.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people were. It's pretty funny, when you think about it, how carried away you can get.
And look how it manipulated the comic book market. You know what I'm saying?
I don't. I think. Well, Hollywood doesn't manipulate the comic book market. It's the people collecting comics manipulate the
and those theories, right?
Yeah,
like everybody,
yeah.
It's Mephisto. Oh, it's Wonder Man. Oh, it's this. One of my favorite things was there was a meme of Don Cheadle from the first episode of Falcon Winter Soldier, and he's got like a wrinkle, and it looks like an M, and they're like Mephisto.
I thought that was pretty funny.
People stretch it real hard.
Yeah, Bob thought it was Mephisto. He thought it was that guy, and I think the other evil guy, whatever it was, and a few other things and stuff. And I really didn't have any idea. I wasn't really looking too far into it, as far as who that stuff was. I mean, I thought it was kind of, and obviously we're just trying to draw this conversation out until Bob gets back.
We're talking way more about WandaVision than I think that he was intending.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really, I didn't like the fact that they used the Quicksilver guy, the actor, to play that part of her brother, because I think it's kind of, because obviously that was the Quicksilver in the X-Men universe. Okay. So now they just kind of make a joke out of it, putting him in there as the guy named Boner or whatnot. So any reference down the road to that X-Men universe coming in, obviously they're not going to use that guy, for it. They're going to have something new. So I thought it was kind of almost like a little slap in the face to the X-Men universe itself that we've all watched, the 15 different movies that we had. Not all of them were great, but for the most part, that guy was actually pretty good in those X-Men movies, and it was just kind of, they made a mockery out of him.
But I think that was done to let all of us super fanboys know that when the X-Men do come, they're not going to be anything like we've seen before. Like, when the X-Men come, like, that was a joke. Hooray. Everybody remembers him. Don't look for him. Don't look for Hugh Jackman. Don't look for anybody that used to be over there. Regardless of the multiverse of madness and all that, don't look for any of that. That's a joke. And then now, can we talk about something else? No, like Falcon and Winter Soldier, people are going crazy again, trying to just figure out everything that's going on. And that's more of like a buddy cop, Jason Bourne type thing. And I think it moves at a totally different pace than WandaVision. And it's not as emotionally invested for everybody, how they kind of like drug us along and then they hit us with the emotional hammer and everybody's sitting there tearing up at the end of the show. While the Falcon and Winter Soldier, you can just kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
Really.
So we're moving on to Falcon and Winter Soldier then? I'm okay with that. Sorry, Bob.
You're the new boss.
Yeah.
Listen, I got another half an hour and I got to jump off. So
there you go. So your initial thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier, you really enjoy it, right?
Yes. I mean, I don't have any complaints just because of the pacing of it.
Yeah.
So I can look at it and be like, okay, my only grievance is that it's only 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because it was so heavy with they spent all the money on WandaVision. And now with the Falcon flying and all this other type of stuff, and now they're fighting the super soldiers, they had to cut it short.
Yeah.
But I think people, if they made it longer, people would want to see Captain America. People would want to see Chris Evans. So they had to like give it to you in a short burst so people wouldn't start not wanting to watch the show. It's like the more they watched it and they didn't see a Captain America, the more people would stop watching it.
Yeah.
It's weird how, that's what I think.
Let me ask you, do you think, is Captain America still alive? Like in Falcon Winter Soldier, is the Captain America, Chris Evans or whatever, Steve Rogers, is he still alive? Or did he die?
I don't think he's dead. I think people think he's dead, but I don't think he's dead.
I don't. They haven't really said nothing about it. They kind of dance around that. That topic, whether he's around or not. So
yeah.
But we never see him die, right? We just see him as an old man give up the shield and right. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. You would think that if he was around, he would have something to say about the shield going to someone else, or they're celebrating Captain America Day or whatever that is, and like passing of the torch or something or whatnot. And that they don't reference it at all. They don't say if he's alive or dead or anything at all. So I don't know if they actually bring that up towards the end of the series. I'm hoping that they do. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up or something.
Old man Cap.
Yeah.
Commander Rogers, they could go to do that thing, just set it up that maybe he's the new leader of some force or some whatever, maybe he's the power broker. That's the big speculative thing with Falcon. I like Falcon Winter Soldier. It is less episodes, but the episodes are longer. So I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of it, it's near the same running time as some WandaVision. Yeah. And it's way more cinematic, which I love. This is way more in line with what people are expecting out of the MCU. It's like you said, Jason, a buddy cop. They're playing on that Bucky Falcon, stuff from Civil War. And I mean, they reference that in the latest episode where he's like, "You're not going to move the seat up, are you?" There he is.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Out of the Matrix.
We were stretching, y'all. We've already finished all the show, by the way.
Freaking Comcast, man.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Welcome back to your show, Bob.
Why, thank you very much. Thanks for holding down the fort for me, guys. I really appreciate it.
We stretched out WandaVision as long as we could. We just now got onto Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Jason was giving his thoughts, and now Robbie just jumped in a little bit on his. So,
okay, all right.
That's the update. I don't know if you want to circle back around and hit WandaVision some more. It's up to you.
No, I was just going to say that the one thing that helped me to see it in a different light, I was watching a couple of different videos that showed kind of Easter eggs, and one of them pointed out the fact that if you look back in the movies when you first see Wanda and her brother, I can't think of his name.
Pietro.
The fact that when they were even locked up in the cells, that's all they had was a TV for entertainment. And even growing up, that was the only semblance of normalcy that she had as a model inside of her life. And so when she went back to look at, trying to create this perfect atmosphere, that's what she fell back on. And it kind of tied it all together for me. And anyway, once I watched it in that light, it was kind of it was a lot more fun those first few episodes. So that's all I was going to say about it. But you guys are on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, man. Who was talking? You just go ahead and keep going.
I was saying that I like how it's cinematic. I like the buddy cop aspect of it. Sam and Bucky, they're pretty funny together. I thought the first episode did a great job of like letting us know where they are now. The second episode I thought was fantastic. Like that one was funny. It had some action. It was taking us by surprise. Oh, maybe the Flag Smashers aren't bad guys. Oh, what's this? And then in the third episode, which I thought was weaker as far as Sam and Bucky's story, but holy crap. One of my favorite things about the MCU is they're like, we didn't quite get Zemo right. So what if we just have one random line? Oh, you didn't know I was rich? I used to be a baron. That's all it took. That's all it took. That's all it took. And now he's got his mask. He's got his collar. He's jumping off of buildings. He's like being Zemo. He's being Baron Zemo. I love Baron von Zemo the second. I freaking love Baron Zemo. So getting to see more of that side of him was cool. Seeing Madripoor was great. Seeing Sharon come back was great. I think she's the power broker. And so I really like Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's more in line with MCU typical fare, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's been working for over 10 years now, right? So, and I just hope it all ends with Sam being Cap, because I loved Sam as Cap. And so I really like this journey and the idea that he is. I like that whole thing where he doesn't feel like he should have the shield. And then I love that moment when Bucky's like, if he's wrong about you, then he's wrong about me. He's tying that all into himself there. I love his regrets. He's trying to make up for all of his terrible deeds as the Winter Soldier. Unlike Wanda, maybe Wanda will eventually do that. Probably not, though. She's hunting for her children in the multiverse right now. But I really like Falcon and Winter Soldier. And it's just the one thing I don't like about it right now is that don't let Baron Zemo become too much part of the joke. Like, I want him to still be very threatening, because Zemo's not a goofy character in the comic books. He's pretty threatening. So that's what I want. Oh, and I like U.S. Agent. U.S. Agent's dope.
I'm going to interject here, Robbie. You may be right about Sam. In all the trailers they keep showing him practicing with the shield. And he hasn't gotten his hands back on it yet. So there is at least 80 to 90% chance that by the end of the series, he's the new Cap.
I'm certain of it. Haven't we even seen concept art of him as Cap? It may have been fake though. You know how the internet is nowadays. But yeah, I think that was cool.
It was fake, but it was dope. It was dope.
Why not both of them? Let both of them. I don't know. I don't know. I like Cap and his partner, so maybe it should be Sam, and then Bucky can be his Bucky.
Yeah, I think that was fan art, not actually concept art. But yeah, I mean, I love the emotional moments in all of these things. Those pieces that really hook me in. Like in the what was the second one was it was called Winter Soldier, right?
No.
The second Cap.
Yeah, Winter Soldier.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
And there's that.
The second one was about the Captain America
guy. Hey, I'm talking about Civil War when they get to the end of it, and there's that scene where he basically says, Cap says he's my friend, and then Tony looks at him and says, "I was too." Huge emotional moment. And you're right, when Bucky basically had that moment with the shrink, and he says, "If he's wrong about you, then he's wrong. He's wrong about me." That was such the crux of everything that he's feeling in the moment, and that just hit me so hard. I thought it was an awesome scene. But Manuel, what do you think about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, my friend?
Oh, it was a terrible, terrible show. I really wish that Squirrel Girl wouldn't have shown up in the last minute and just took over the show. That would no Falcon and Winter Soldier is great. Yeah, I know, but I didn't have anything. Everything's been said. It's such a great show. I really enjoy this incarnation of Baron Zemo. As far as the first episode, I wasn't as sold on. I really liked the aerial sequence, but then after that, they kept those two apart. And I like Robbie. I think one of the biggest strengths of this show is the dynamic between Sam and Bucky. And so by episode 2, I think it really hit its stride. So I don't know. I'm digging it, man. I am digging it.
The comedy between them in episode 2 was perfection. Like when he's like, "Oh, you read The Hobbit?" Yeah, in 1938 when it first came out.
No, it's funny when they say it, but when I make a joke about Bram Stoker's Dracula coming out when you were a kid, Robbie, then it's just anger and hatred there. Goodness gracious.
That's all jealousy, Manuel. It's all jealousy.
Bram Stoker's Dracula's okay. It's no Skeleton Key though.
It's not. It's no Skeleton Key. You are correct.
Right on. How about you, Bueller? What do you think about the show?
I'm really all 3 episodes. I really liked it. I liked the last one the best. To be totally honest, I liked the introduction of the what's called Madripoor. Is that the place? And stuff.
Yeah.
Just the lights and the neon and the stuff, how it's set up. Is that where Hawkeye was or something like that when he was doing the Ronin thing?
I think so.
Reminded me of the same place or something like that. He was just.
Or was he just in Hong Kong or something?
I think he was in the.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I just liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I think it's really neat that there's like literally a city just filled of just criminals and crime and whatnot, but yet we have superheroes. Flying around in the skies and stuff, but yet there's still a place for really horrible people just to hang out, and call it good. And you would think that something would happen, but no, it doesn't. So anyway, as far as the dynamic between the two main characters is phenomenal. I mean, even when you go back to just their little interaction that they had in other movies, because they weren't in scenes a lot together, but when they were, I mean, just when they're sitting in the back of the car seat when Cap is kisses that one girl. Just that little look that they have between each other is like, they work really well together. And they have a show to show that off, and it's doing a great job. So I mean, I like the fact that we got to see the Winter Soldier kind of go Winter Soldier in the bar. I thought that was pretty cool to see that again. And then at the very end, we get Wakanda thrown into the storyline. And where does that go? Where do we see, the reference? Do we hear a reference to, Black Panther or something, and who knows? So, I mean, episode 3 was so good from the beginning to end, and I just really enjoyed it. I agree with Robbie. I think that what's her name is the power broker, I guess. I kind of think that's what they're going for. But I like it, man. We've got one more episode tomorrow, then we've got 2 more after that, and that's it. So I mean, it's flying by pretty fast, and I hope they wrap it all up. And I don't like that Grandpa Captain America guy right now. He looks dumb.
He looks so different in every scene. That's the problem, Yeah. But that first,
you can totally tell that they're pushing him towards a villain type role, So
I
think they'll eventually team up.
Mhm.
I do too. I do too.
It's U.S. Agent and Battlestar. They got to be good guys by the end of it.
By the end of it, for sure. So I know Madripoor has ties to the X-Men, and there were a number of X-Men Easter eggs there in Madripoor. One of the most obvious was when they had their interaction with Sharon Carter over by the containers, and they look over at that building where the security is, and there's an X right on the door inside of a circle. I mean, directly from the comics. And did you guys catch any of the X-Men references?
That wasn't really a reference, Bob. You're reading way too much. That was just
reading way too much. Right.
They show the Princess Bar.
Mhm.
Like you see the sign, and that's where Patch used to go drink. So that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that they use Madripoor as maybe a launching base for something. But I mean, we got to get some mutant stuff going on here soon, guys. I'm jonesing for it.
Wolverine is the power broker.
17 movies of mutants.
Well, what did you just say, Jason?
I said Wolverine is the power broker.
That would be amazing.
It's Patch. It's Patch. That would be so cool, wouldn't it?
That would.
Awesome.
That would.
Like, I didn't even know he was Wolverine because he's wearing an eye patch. That's so weird. It's a great disguise. And how funny was the bit when Sam's trying to be that tiger dude, and he's like, "It was my favorite drink." I was like, Sam's going to ruin this for everybody. He could not play it cool whatsoever.
No.
And I like Zemo's line too, and he's like, only an American would think a fashion-forward black man was dressed as a pimp. Because I was like, that's a cool fucking suit. That's a cool suit, man.
But I've been reading a lot of the reports about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and from what I understand, the way they've been looking at it is the first 2 episodes were great. The 3rd episode was, I guess, mediocre. And all I have to say to that is if you consider the 3rd episode mediocre, you're not a comic book fan. You're watching this without any reference to the comic books. That would be my feeling on that.
Interesting.
All right, so has everybody gone on Falcon and the Winter Soldier here?
I got one last thing I want to say.
Sure thing.
Ask you guys, what's been your favorite Marvel show so far, WandaVision or the Falcon Winter Soldier, if it's picked between the 2? Even though Falcon Winter Soldier is not over with yet.
WandaVision.
WandaVision? Robbie's gone.
Yeah.
As much of a masterpiece as WandaVision is, and it really truly is. I love it. But Falcon the Winter Soldier is hitting all of those MCU things that I've been waiting for so long. And so just for that reason, I'm liking Winter Soldier more. It's just so easily digestible and puts a big, huge smile on my face. Everything that happened with Zemo in the last episode, I was just smiling from ear to ear.
Well, Bob's right. And we've still got one right, one wrong.
Well, peer pressure now, so I guess I gotta say Falcon and WandaVision. I like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it is very MCU WandaVision was something different. WandaVision hits ticks a lot of boxes that other MCU shows don't, that are things that I would go back and watch. It's got that strange Twin Peaksy mysteriousness about it. Those are boxes that other MCU things don't hit. So for that reason, I think I will go back and watch WandaVision a lot more than I'll watch Winter Soldier again. Falcon and Winter Soldier again. So
Wrong.
I'd say Falcon and Winter Soldier definitely for me, just because I mean, just the Ed Brubaker, Steve Epting run on Captain America, it makes me just want to go dig into my comics again. I can't, and I would never probably go back and watch the first 3 episodes of WandaVision. It was, my wife was laughing at me. Saying they fooled me. Look, see, they fooled you. And, you know, she was right. But Falcon Winter Soldier, she didn't like that either, but she can understand that much better than WandaVision.
Yep. Jason's right. There you go.
For one.
Did we lose Bob again?
Yes, we did.
yeah. All right, computer. Don't you start getting any ideas either.
Hey, we got a super chat.
We got a super chat.
Thank you for
Slap
Bob.
the bullseye.
Wow. That's
10
crazy.
times.
Damn, Bob.
This is great. That one will do again. He's just hating life right now. I know it.
Yeah,
least-
I don't
at least-
know what he wanted to talk about next.
At least this is a better picture of him. Oh, I just got a text. Oh, he lost it again.
Oh man,
He can do it on his phone.
Well, I don't know. That's funny.
Oh, maybe
Anyway,
not.
he's got a Nokia from 2002,
Oh.
so I don't know if he can.
Oh, he gets to play Snake though.
Yeah, he plays Snake on it.
Nice.
all
So
right.
how y'all been?
Been good, man. How you?
I've been good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staying out of trouble.
Yeah, for the most part. You?
Hey, tell me about this Comic-Con you're doing there, Robbie. What's up
The
with that?
Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo starting tomorrow, 2 to 7, 10 to 6 on Saturday, and then 11 to 5 on Sunday. And if you're there on Sunday, come to Panel Room B at 3 p.m. Central Time for the annual PCP panel. It's going to be fun, though. Jim Shooter will be there.
Nice.
I know he talks a lot, so I'll take advantage of it and just
You
chat
get
with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool. Yeah. A lot of people canceled. JDF's going to be there. Jason David Frank. He's the Green Power Ranger. Bueller.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, super cool.
You know what? I knew that. He's the green one.
Yeah, the green one with the dagger,
Yeah.
the flute dagger.
He's the one that does the karate chops.
Hits it. Yep. That's
He
him.
does the MMA fighting as well, or used to, or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I know stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a complete idiot.
But yeah, PCP will be there. We got a booth. We're there every year. So if you're in the area, come see us. You have to wear a mask.
Super chat. We got more super chats when Bob leaves.
They're trying to get him some good internet, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Rogue Trader.
Hey.
Thank you, Rogue Trader. We're just waiting for Bob to come back, possibly. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. See, it's his show.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Yeah, Travis at 8 p.m. Central Time tonight. Join us over at PCP. We have Jennifer from Comics Will Break Your Heart on the channel. So
I finally met her yesterday.
yeah, she's in your area, right?
Yeah, I told her there was a sale at my LCS, and she came on down yesterday. And first time I got a chance to actually meet her in person, so it's
Nice.
pretty cool. She's awesome. Look forward to you plan on doing the interview so your internet doesn't cut out, right? So we actually watch it.
We're going to try to. Yeah, it's called a conversation, though. We don't do interviews. We do conversations at PCP.
I don't know. Really?
different. Yeah. It's just a bit, man. It's just a bit. Leave it alone. Anyway,
Leave it alone.
leave it alone.
What else is going on? Anybody seen anything good lately?
Watch Godzilla vs Kong. Invincible.
Jason only has like a little bit left, right? Do you want to tell us some of your thoughts on what else we were going to talk about before Bobby gets back?
Yeah, what else? Snyder Cut. We can jump on that if you want.
Okay, we can talk about the Snyder Cut,
Yeah,
which I watched twice. I can't believe I dedicated 8 hours to that thing. But I'm a fan of Zack Snyder, and I was a fan of the original Justice League. And I think the original Justice League movie, the only thing that I had a problem with heavily was the Flash, because his we've all watched the Olympics at least once, the Summer Olympics, and nobody runs like that. Nobody. And we've all watched the Winter Olympics, and we know that people actually ice skate like that. But when you have a tread on your sneakers, you run, you don't skate. But the 4-hour bit was I really like the cyborg stuff that they put in it. That added a lot to it. You got a little bit more understanding of why he was so pissed off and everything. And he was a little bit more super heroic, I'll say, in it. And but the changes that they made with Steppenwolf, and I'm a CG guy, I love Steppenwolf. And how his uniform is almost like a symbiote, how it moves and everything. It was really cool because they made it move the way Mystique skin moves in the X-Men. That was pretty cool. I can say I give it like a 8.5. I mean, should I really say what I didn't like? People have been disagreeing with me so much that that last nightmare scene, I didn't care for it at all. I do not like Jared Leto's Joker at all. He gives me a stomachache. And with somebody as aggressive as Ben Affleck's Batman, his Joker is like a meth head to me. I don't like him. He's weird. And to tell you the truth, if Aquaman is dead in that future, why is the Joker still alive? If he was supposedly responsible for tricking Batman into having Lois Lane killed or whatever, like, why didn't Superman like just blow his head off? I don't understand why he's still there.
It's valid. It's a valid statement.
It's his dream. It's his dream, right?
But it's supposed to be like maybe a glimpse into the actual future, because in the next movie, they were like Darkseid was supposed to show up and they lose, and Lois dies, and Superman turns, and then they do the nightmare thing. I'm obsessive about the Snyder Cut, and I've read detailed descriptions of what all the movies were supposed to be, and like Lois was supposed to die, and the Batman was supposed to send Flash back in time, and there was a whole bit. He almost apparently walked out of the Snyder's Cut over that last scene because they were like, we don't need to do this 30-minute ending, you know, and he's like, Lord of the Rings got to do it. I'm going to do it. So
that is true.
I'm surprised it didn't end with like Joker and Batman and Flash and Cyborg just going off onto a ship with some elves, you know, just sailing to the sunset.
Just big bedroom hug it out scene with all the characters.
Make no mistake, I will effing kill you.
Yeah.
I like that bit. I thought that was cool. It's about time somebody said that to the Joker. So I liked it. I really like the Snyder Cut. I think it's phenomenal. And I think that, as Dylan would say, phenomenal. I really liked Cyborg. And now I understand why Ray Fisher's so pissed, because he's the heart of that movie. And they cut him out just to make him kind of jovial and booyah. Like, I mean, like Cyborg's story in this is the story of Justice League. His journey of acceptance of who he is and finding that power within, right? Even in the midst of all this tragedy. His mom and his dad, I mean, they cut all that stuff out of the theatrical cut, you know, like all of it. Like Cyborg's insignificant almost in the theatrical cut. And he is the reason for this movie. The Flash stuff was way better, though I was like, dude, stop being creepy with Iris and just save her life. Like, come on, man. Superman didn't have, you know, he's in it and I liked it. And the black costume was cool. Very little Batman and Wonder Woman, you know, and Aquaman was still cool, but not like super broy. you know, so that was kind of toned down. I loved it. And yeah, 4 hours, I didn't care. That first fight with the Amazons, I was like, they could have ended it right there. I've been like, Snyder Cut's better. They could have just Steppenwolf's dope. Darkseid was great. Desaad. The biggest thing is like, man, we're never going to get to see what should have happened afterwards. But, you know, one day DC will do like 20 years later, they'll do like a comic book digital first or something. Mm-hmm. I loved it though. Is that Bob?
Yeah. He said we can start the conversation about the Snyder Cut if we like to.
Oh,
I'll let him know. Thanks.
What y'all think about it?
I liked it. I liked the original. I mean, I didn't mind the first attempt at Justice League. I enjoyed that movie for what it was. This is better. This is infinitely better. But I don't feel like if you really hated the original Justice League, like this is going to change your mind, because this is just like more of that. But yeah, I thought it was a strong movie. I really enjoyed it.
I hated the original Justice League, and I loved this one.
Really? You hated it?
I hated that Whedon one, man. I hated it. I hated it. Steppenwolf was so doofy and dumb. His whole mother. I'm so glad that was taken out. The whole like the one thing there's still some stuff I don't like the whole idea they're like this mother box can reorganize cells and blah blah blah, and they're like we're gonna use it to bring Superman back. I'm like, that's not the first thought Batman would have. First thought Batman would have would be like, maybe we can bring back my parents, you know? But it was just so weird that like, oh, we'll just use this to bring Superman back. They just know. Like, that's a little weird to me. Steppenwolf was so much better though. The whole plot, everything, like the pacing, everything was so much better in this one. There wasn't any of that stupid banter and weird like romantic tension like they tried to Sam and Diane, Wonder Woman and Batman, which just seemed so out of place. Mm-hmm. But I thought it made significant changes for the better over the Whedon one.
About that battle with Wonder Woman in the beginning against the terrorists.
Oh man, that was
she
BA.
Killed everybody. I thought that was insane, and how Zack Snyder sped her up. Like she was so much faster. There was none of that slow-mo stuff. She was out of control. I was like, man, it was watching her and the Amazons was like watching a woman version of 300.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it should be, right? You know, the Amazons, they're like warriors, man. They have like had to fight off so many invasions. I mean, they're badass. They're like, and the cool thing is too, like those Amazons, they're freaking scary. I was like, if I met any of them women in real life, I'd stay the hell away. I'd be like, I see you over there. Much respect.
Much respect.
That whole sequence on Themyscira was so good. It was so good.
It's like the best game of rugby I've ever seen.
Yeah. You've seen a game of rugby?
Oh yeah, man. I had a homie used to play for Jacksonville, cock rugby. Yeah, good stuff. He broke his leg. Really gnarly. Really gnarly.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's people throwing spears, shooting arrows off horseback, man. If that's like rugby, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's how they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not American rugby. That's old school rugby. What about you, Bueller? Did you like the Snyder Cut?
No. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I thought the first one was fine. I didn't think it was good or bad. I thought it was just fine. I see this one of more of that. But it's fine. You know, it is. I wouldn't go back and watch it again. There's a couple of glaring things that I have a problem with on both cuts of the movie. I've never liked the color palette that they use for it. They kind of use really they tone all the colors down quite a bit, and kind of it's a washy color. They did that same thing on Man of Steel, and I thought that was kind of I don't like that. I want kind of the brightness, you know, the flashiness to where like the Avengers are or something like that. Just a different color palette. It just seems so dreary, you know, as far as what that movie looks like all the time. Even when they're at the where Wonder Woman's island is or whatever it is, it's still toned down. You know, they're on the beach or whatnot. You know, it should be bright and all this stuff. And it's just not. So I have a hard time with that. And they did that in the other movie as well. And then I have a hard time with it seems like it's always really busy with his movies. Like there's always so much on the screen at one time to where it's like, you know, even in the background, there's like stuff moving, you know, or just like, you know, the random things just kind of going on, you know, it's just a lot of stuff on the screen moving at the same time. And it kind of, you don't get that simplicity type thing sometimes of a solid colored background or something like that. You can just enjoy it for a minute. I noticed that right away. Both the movies have that problem. But the biggest problem I have with both is the fact, and I said this before, the human element. It's like regular humans don't even exist in this world. It's like you hardly see a regular person at all. You know, I mean, you're on Gotham or you know, wherever they're at and stuff, and there's nobody on the street. Like there's nobody out hanging out. You know, there's more people down here in Milwaukee, Oregon than there is in Gotham. You know, and it's like, you know, even like at the end of this movie when they're in that town wherever they're at, you know, and the big battle takes place, there's nobody there. You don't see a single person at all. In the first movie, at least you saw one family, a wife and a dad and the two kids, and that was it. But in this one,
that stuff. The Russian family.
Yeah, in this one you don't see anyone. It's like, where is everyone? This is a massive event that's affecting the world. There's no military. There's no nothing. There's nobody else fighting for it. It's literally a battle between the superheroes and the villains, and nobody else gets involved. It's like their own world. It's like nobody's even there. Besides the opening part with Wonder Woman, that's it. That's literally just about it. Even when Superman comes back, there's like 2 cop cars out in that field, and that's it. 2 cop cars out in the field where the memorial is, and you don't see anyone else whatsoever. Except
maybe
for the scientists here and there. Yeah. But it's just like, you know, and obviously we're going to compare it to the Avengers and stuff, but look at Avengers and look at the attack in New York. I mean, it's devastation. I mean, there's buildings coming down and people running for their lives. It's crazy. People trying to survive. The same type of thing is happening. Okay. The world is going to come to an end with these people coming into it. And you don't feel any of that. It's like people are just walking down the street getting a coffee, like, let us know when you're done fighting. You know, and that's about it. So I mean, they did the same thing in the first one. In the regular cut, and they did the same, even more so in this one. It's 2 hours longer.
Well,
so
maybe.
You know, I don't like it. Maybe,
you know, because you're right. In Avengers, there's devastation. You can imagine that people died during that invasion, right? It's a big deal. But when Snyder directs those things, he gets a lot of shit for it. You know what I'm saying? Like in Man of Steel, they're like, oh, all that death and destruction, all those people that died. So maybe they were just trying to leave as much of that out as possible.
Yeah, I remember that, but like he went from one extreme to another. It was like literally he got a bunch of crap for like destroying a whole city, sure, and then in this one he doesn't have it. And there's no middle ground. There's literally it's all or nothing, and then that's what we get on this one. Literally nothing at all.
I'll tell you this though, talking about people like just standing around not really helping out or whatever, how ballsy of it was the Martian Manhunter to show up at the end and be like, yeah, I didn't help out in the Doomsday fight. Yeah. I didn't help out here, but don't worry, I got you next time, bro.
Yeah, he's been around the whole time, man. He could have saved some lives.
Well, I think part of not having those extras around, though. Well, one, the last fight takes place in like Chernobyl. Now, yeah. I'm not an expert on Chernobyl, but I don't think there's a whole lot of heads just rolling around in Chernobyl right now.
Well, there's more than you think, man.
It's a
right
popular hotspot.
It's right next to Los Angeles.
Yeah. And so and then like the second thing is, man, the last time the MCU exists in a world where a lot of the heroes are still pretty punchy and shooty guys, right? There's not a ton of like really heavy hitter superpower people like just running around. So like when the city of New York gets attacked in the first Avengers, yeah, there's people walking around. They're not expecting that. This is a world where like Superman, like if he gets into a squabble with a homie, buildings are coming down. So I'm sure the people in Metropolis are like, when the supers are out, they're hiding. You know what I mean? They're keeping their distance because that shit is dangerous.
Yeah, that's what normal people do. When something goes wrong, they don't go watch it. Are you kidding me? People, you sideswipe a car, you're sitting in traffic for 5 hours.
First off, you got to stop sideswiping cars. I told you they're going to take your license, bro.
He's doing it to prove a point. It's a study.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. I got to get up out of here. Let Bob know I stuck around as long as I could. I got to fly. Great being with you guys. I'll catch you guys on the rebound, and I will try to watch a little bit of all of you. You guys have a good weekend.
You too,
Peace.
bro. It was nice meeting you, Jason.
Good to hang out with you, man.
All righty. Always.
And we're down to 3.
Yeah, yep.
I bet Bob is so pissed right now.
Oh, he's hating life. He was so looking forward to this.
I know, man.
So looking forward to this.
He should have pulled a Sam and came over to your house.
Yeah, there you go. He could have. I'm in my office today, so he could have. No problem. God, that's crazy. But I mean, I was a little surprised how little interaction there was with like just. I mean, like I said, there's that scene in the movie where it's at nighttime, but literally, Wonder Woman is talking to the Cyborg on the street. Okay, are they in Gotham or are they in whatever? I don't know. Metropolis.
That's in Gotham, right?
Yeah, whatever it is. This is
who's on the street at Gotham at night? I wouldn't be. Would you?
No. Ooh, you just opened the door. Okay, let's go. Let's take a step back. Okay, let's go back to when the very first Batman movie came out. With the Michael Keaton, man, they get out of the thing and they're walking down the street. There's tons of people on the street. That's at nighttime.
It's the multiverse. That's a different Earth, Bueller.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. People still love to go out at night.
One thing you don't understand is that Zack Snyder's Justice League takes place during the 5-year blip. So there's like half of the universe is gone.
Apparently, there's nobody there.
Now, next time I watch it, I'm going to be like, he's right. There's nobody there.
And here, just so you guys know, if you guys go back to my channel, I have an interview with both Cyborg and the Flash from when this movie came out. So way back in the day when this movie first came out, whenever that was, they were like one of my first interviews. Both of the gentlemen were very nice.
Oh, Ray Fisher and Ezra Miller, like for real? I thought, is this not a bit?
No, I'm being honest. It's on my channel.
I don't actually watch your channel, Bueller, so I have no idea.
Oh! Hey, Bob's back. Hey, Bob, welcome to your show.
Yeah, Bob.
Thank you.
Jason had to leave. Said thank you for having him.
Absolutely. I'll connect with him later. And again, you guys, I'm so very sorry. This is highly frustrating.
Hey, Bob, this is one of your best shows ever.
Because I'm not here, right?
One of you got 2 super chats while you were gone.
Yeah.
Hey! Thank you for the super chats, y'all.
I can't wait to hear this mentioned on the next coffee video. It's going to be great.
Yeah, here we go. Oh my gosh.
We've been talking about the Snyder Cut. We all liked it except for Bueller.
Really?
There weren't enough people on the streets for Bueller, he said.
Oh, that's a small detail.
It's a huge detail.
When you watch a big spectacle movie where there's giant, larger than life characters fighting, we all know that we want to see the human characters more. That's the best part of those movies.
I bet you really like all the Godzilla movies.
That's a great point.
It's so small. They're all hiding. Different.
But I really enjoyed the Snyder Cut. I thought it was miles better than what we got in the original Justice League movie that Joss Whedon did. I mean, there's.
Oh no! And he got another super chat. That's what y'all stopped doing. Breaking his internet.
Dude, he got this figured out
Again.
Oh man!
Oh, there he is!
Oh my God!
Hey.
Sight.
Good bit.
I did the bit.
Hey, look at this. We got a super chat from Sleepy Reader. Damien, thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate you. Don't even start, Bueller. Okay, so, but like I said, there were some things inside the movie that I was really puzzled by. One of those things, and I know some people think that the soundtrack was a masterpiece. I found myself very puzzled by a lot of the music choices that he made. I don't know. There were just some scenes that I thought were drawn out way too much. Of course, I know we're looking at the director's cut, which they would have edited anyway in the original. I get all that. But all in
Oh man.
No, really looking at Steppenwolf being so much better CGI'd. What are you guys laughing at? Are you laughing at me?
Hey, Bob, we can't hear you. Your microphone's not working.
Wait,
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm not even listening to this guy.
You are freezing a little bit, but it's okay.
But I mean, like I said, all in all, what we got with Steppenwolf being so much better, getting Darkseid, getting some of these other characters that I was not expecting inside of the movie. That bank scene with Wonder Woman was so much better than what we got originally. I've gone back and just watched that scene numerous times. I think it's just an awesome scene. One of the things that I found myself being very bothered by was Ezra Miller is just not my Flash. I'm sorry. I thought his portrayal of the character, whether he has the comic relief or levity or not, there's only one scene inside of that movie where he actually acted like the Flash that I know, and that's that one scene at the end where he's catching all the debris, which I thought was a really fantastic scene. But other than that, I really he's just not my Flash, and so I loved all of the new scenes with Cyborg. I loved his character being fleshed out even more. Some people are saying that he's the heart of this movie. I would tend to agree. I really loved just how much they delved into his character, his pain, and then his eventual, coming to grips with, his role in all of this. I thought that was fantastic. As a matter of fact, out of all of the characters in there, I would have loved to have seen a just full Cyborg movie. That's just me, though.
Right?
Absolutely. I am not excited about the Flash movie coming up, whether they do, I forget the storyline.
Flashpoint?
Yeah, Flashpoint. Whether they do Flashpoint or not, I'm just not excited for it. I had big, huge problems with Batfleck in the beginning. He didn't bother me as much inside of the Snyder Cut as he did in BVS. So I thought that was cool. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is just amazing. And then, it's not my Arthur Curry, but I like the version of Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I think that's a really cool way to play that part.
My man.
But all in all, I love the action. I love just, what we got out of it. But again, there were so many different slow-mo scenes that I thought were just fluff. They didn't need to be there. That whole football scene didn't need to be there. I think they could have done that so much shorter. And there was just things like that. All the people in Norway or wherever they're at when they're singing to him, like, kind of treating him like a god. That was kind of weird. The sweater. What's going on here, man?
There's a real good 3-hour version of this movie that we should have had in 2017 or whatever it was, right?
Right. But
do you think
where they were going to go with part 2, I'm not so sure I would have liked that very much. And I really hope that we do get that in a comic book, because I've seen another video that shows all the storyboards on where they were going to go with Justice League Part 2. And basically, I guess we were going to get Bruce Wayne having an affair with Lois Lane, her getting pregnant, and then yeah, seriously, and then basically, her having the baby and not really knowing whether it's Superman's or Bruce Wayne's.
Isn't that just like Lois for you?
Yeah, tells Bruce that it's not his kid and it's Superman, and then of course she gets killed, which sets Superman off. And then by the end of the movie, I guess when everything gets set back right and Bruce Wayne makes the big sacrifice, you find out that it actually was Bruce Wayne's kid, and he becomes a hero going forward. I just thought, that's just way too out of touch with what we know of the DC universe. I wouldn't have liked it. I think it would have gone way too far into left field. But if they bring it out in a comic book, I'll read it. I'll check it out.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a multiverse, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
One of the best ways to understand Snyder's approach to the DC universe is to understand that first and foremost, he's a Frank Miller fan. And that sounds like a Frank Miller idea.
Yeah,
like 100%, you know?
Mhm.
So
I would agree. That makes perfect sense. You know, and look, Zack Snyder's a visual guy, and I would he has great vision, and I applaud him for taking chances the way that he has, especially with characters that are so established. I think he wanted to shake up the status quo. But really, when it comes down to it, some of this stuff really didn't play well. But because of the fact that we love these characters so much, even when the movies were bad, people were still paying for them. They made bank, which is why they made more. And it's just because of the fact that we love these characters so much, and people want a good movie with these characters. And so I don't know where they go with this next. I really don't think that they're going to flesh out the DCEU as it was originally planned. But we're getting kind of parts of it coming back in a certain way. It's just kind of weird. I mean, I would definitely have scrapped that Flash movie. Where they go with Aquaman 2, who knows? But I really hope that it's not connected too much to what we saw inside of the Snyder Cut, because I think where they were going with that is just, you need to let that go.
You know, one other thing I do think that the Snyder Cut did a better job of was setting up the Aquaman movie.
Mhm.
And dude, Willem Dafoe's Volko was awesome in the Justice League movie. I'm like, where did that hair go? You know, I thought that the setup for the Aquaman movie was way better and made more sense in this one. Though it does still bother me when they're fighting Steppenwolf in that drainage tunnel or whatever, and then the water starts flooding in, and then Aquaman just randomly shows up.
Right.
You know, like, of course, that's what they need at that moment, is for Aquaman to show up, right? But
Yeah.
Where were the people then, too? Think about it.
They were upstairs.
Yeah,
They
but then
couldn't-
it's like, oh, you
couldn't
guys
afford-
done messing around in the sewer? Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. That's what it was.
Couldn't afford extras, man. You know how much it costs to make CGI hot dogs float in the air for like 2 minutes while Barry Allen's trying to save Iris? That's expensive, Bueller.
$75 million.
Yeah. I
I'll
wonder
tell you one
though.
thing.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say one good thing that COVID gave us was this movie, because it would not have happened otherwise. Like, because it was like, if you really think about it, they spent like money on this, but compared to what they would have spent producing films in that year, like, they didn't really. I mean, they kind of like, this was a really good decision on their part, but now they're going to have to deal with us Snyder fans being like, restore the Snyderverse, you know. So
Yeah.
but it ain't happening.
Manuel, what were you about to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, do you think all those long, drawn-out slow-mo scenes though were left in because like until like a week before this movie came out, it was gonna be 4 episodes and then it was gonna be 6 episodes? You know what I mean? Like, do you think that they made the film thinking, well, this is going to be a Wonder Woman and Themyscira centric episode. This is gonna be a cyborg centric episode, and to fill that time, they'll let these slow-mo scenes go for so long. You know,
I think there were a lot of decisions made last minute. I mean, if you look at the way they tried to break it up into chapters, it really wouldn't have worked in just 4 parts, which is originally what it was going to be. Because then it became 6 parts. We heard it was going to happen, and so I think that they were making decisions all the way through this. There were some things like, the whole thing about the 4-3 aspect. And how Snyder wanted to go with because of the IMAX screen and all that type of stuff, and it was this conscious decision to leave it that way because that's bullshit. They didn't want to go ahead and reshoot it or remaster it in widescreen. That's why they left it that way. I mean, I think decisions like that were made to the whole thing.
See, I like the 4-3.
That was a Snyder decision. He was so adamant about that. Like, it would have taken them no time at all to like just crop that down, because that's what they did for the other one. Like, that would have taken no time at all. He wanted it to be more vertical because he said superheroes are more vertical. They're not so horizontal.
That's
like a comic book.
That's just him being selfish, is all that is.
Oh, whatever. Here's the thing.
Let's take a movie that doesn't fit your television. Yeah, we're good if it got released in
your television, brother.
If it got released in the IMAX movie theaters, which it didn't, they only got released on your television that has the letterbox format. That's just selfishness by that Snyder guy.
Whatever. Back in the day, people complained about widescreen. I'm not that guy. I want it to be whatever the director's vision is. If it's widescreen, if it's full frame, I don't care, as long as you get more information in here. You can look at some of the exact same footage that was used in the Whedonverse and see how much they cut out by cropping it down. Like, it was meant to be. Look at a comic book page. You don't read a comic book, or most comic books, unless you're Rob Liefeld. You don't read a comic book like this. You read it like this, So that's, I think, what he was trying to mimic. Was it a good move? Probably not, but I didn't mind it. It didn't take me away. I barely noticed it after like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Absolutely.
Press the button and fixed it.
Get a bigger TV, Bueller.
Selfish. That's all it was, selfish.
Maybe you're selfish.
Yeah, well, you haven't been the first person to say that, so I get it.
So here's a question that I have. It's like, now that we've seen both versions, what the hell was all that about the mustache? Did he have to shoot those scenes to make that movie? I mean, and it just, what the hell? I found myself completely puzzled about him having to go that far to shoot those scenes when they had no relevance really on the story whatsoever.
Is there a Directors Guild thing that they have to shoot X amount of footage in order to get a directing credit? I don't know. I'm just posturing here. I don't know.
There might be, because Whedon got sole directing credit for that movie.
There actually is. I think it's 30%.
So
yeah, because there's something like in Superman 2, like a lot of that was shot by Donner, but because Lester did a certain percentage, he got sole credit or something. It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the end, I mean, at the beginning of the movie on the original Justice League, it'll show, they give Joss Whedon credit, but it does show Zack Snyder as the director. And when it gives Whedon credit, I thought it was so funny how he's got the homeless dude sitting there with the sign saying, "I tried."
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I just
say this line of the night. Maybe you're selfish, Bueller. Come on, Robbie. Don't take it personally.
Oh, love this.
It's got to fit in my TV. Maybe somebody's out there and they still have an old school TV. I don't know how they hooked up their Roku or whatever the hell it is to it, but
Robbie goes to a coffee show with you, Bueller. I'm making sure he has a shirt that says "Maybe you're selfish, Bueller."
Man. I think the moral.
What are you gonna do, right?
The moral of the story of the Snyder Cut is, and this is what I'm really a big fan of, is if you are a studio with a lot of money and you hire a creative person, like, they know who Zack Snyder is. You can't tell me that they were surprised by being like, "Oh my goodness, he's making this movie. This is Zack Snyder." Don't hire Zack Snyder if you don't want Zack Snyder to do Zack Snyder. Do you know what I'm saying? Hire your directors, hire your writers, your creators, and then have faith in them to do their ability. If it doesn't work, then move on. But don't, like, the way that they handled this, just, it seems very obvious, and it's that dreaded word that gets overused, studio interference. I think that's 100% what happened with the DCE.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's a part of this that I don't think it would have been made without the fans pressing so hard for it to be released as well.
Yeah,
I think that was definitely a part of it, which is, I mean, I love, because it shows that, the fans can have a voice, and, throwing down what they want can actually sway what one of these companies, will or will not do. And I enjoyed that aspect of it very much. Of course, I'm still with the whole crowd saying restore Daredevil, but hopefully we'll get that soon. All right, but there's a lot of people out there that's asking for the Ayers cut of Suicide Squad.
I'd like to see that.
I would too.
I'd like to see what Leto was actually trying to do as the Joker, because you can tell in that movie, which I just watched for the first time a couple weeks ago. You can tell that there's some darkness there, but it just got so neutered. Joker in the theatrical cut of Suicide Squad is like a 90s comic book villain. He just shows up for like a 20-second scene and it's over. And it's just to move along. Hey, nipples. It's just to move along the plot a little bit forward. They gutted the story of him and Harley. They gutted all of that stuff. And Ayers is pissed about it. Leto's pissed about it. So I'd like to see it. It ain't never going to happen. But
yeah, I agree with that. It really, when you realize that they gave it to basically an editing company, the same company that edited the trailer. They did a great job on that trailer, by the way. But you give them the whole movie and they're going to try to make it as sensational as they can and cut out all the heart. That's basically what happened. That's from what I understand.
Yeah. And they wanted to Guardians it up. That's why they kept putting all those talk about weird musical cues. Like they were putting any popular song in there. I'm like, this doesn't work. Like, I feel like this was not cut with this music in mind. It was not filmed like that, but.
Oh, we'll see pretty soon when we get James Gunn's version of Suicide Squad.
And that's going to be the difference, is that James Gunn knows how to do that soundtrack with the deep enough cuts and still be popular. And they were just throwing like, oh, Cream, Queen, what else do people? Tone Loc. Let's just do it. All of it's in there. Why not?
Tone Loc.
What you think? So what? Was some kind of Suicide Squad? I'm surprised Will Smith didn't have a song and a dance number like he did in the 90s.
That would have been fire.
Suicide Squad. Do the suicide dance.
Oh, that's too classic. I love it. All right. So anybody have any final thoughts on Snyder Cut before we move on to the next one?
Restore the Snyderverse. Hashtag.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. All right.
And I want no bystanders, and I want it to be in 2x2.
In 2x2. There we go. Well, by the way, before we go on, they actually, after the Snyder Cut came out, they came out with a black and white version. Did anybody watch that?
No, but I want to.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by it. I'll probably watch it to see, what goes on with it, but I can't see 4 hours of being full black and white. I don't know.
Yeah. Bueller wants it to be more colorful. I bet he'll really like the black and white version.
Yeah. That's the opposite direction I'm going for.
I was puzzled by it, but I'm intrigued by it as well. So, so the next property up on our list, and I'm going to have Robbie start us off on this one, and that was on Amazon Prime. We got Invincible, and the reason why I'm having Robbie start, because I'm not so sure about you, Manuel, but I know I never read the original comic book. I know Jason never read the original comic book. Bueller, did you ever read it?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Manuel? Did you ever read the original comic book?
No, I've not.
Yeah. But I know Robbie has. And so I figured, am I right or wrong?
I've read the first 12 issues. So yeah,
Yeah.
I have read what's covered in the episodes I watched, at least. So
There we go. There we go.
I read the first 2 trades. So the first 12, I guess.
I lied. I didn't read it.
I have the first trade. I've just not read it yet.
Yeah.
But for somebody who's read the comic book, I figure you'd be a good person to start us off on this conversation. So what did you think, my friend?
It's a faithful adaptation of the story. It really, really is. And my problem with this show, and I've only seen the first 2 episodes, so maybe the second 2 like really kind of flesh some things out. But I find, because, okay, so last night I was like, okay, I'm going to watch all 4 episodes. And I'm like, they're 50 minutes long. That's the problem to me. I think for an animated superhero show, I think the episodes are too long. They drag a little bit. They get a little dull at times. But for instance, the first episode is so boring to me. But a lot of that is because how many times have we seen a hero gets his powers and has to train to use them? We've seen that so many times as comic book fans, right? And then when it gets to the end with the big twist and the reveal, which is straight up from the comics, that scene was great. But I had to wait 45 minutes to get to it. And then the second episode was, once again, just kind of dull, but it had some really great moments. But I think if they were 20 to 30-minute episodes, it would be a lot more punchy. The story and the animation, I like the animation, but it's not as dynamic as it should be to carry a 50-minute show. Even animes most time only do like a 20 to 30-minute episode. There's a reason for that, I think, because a lot of adults find it hard to, I don't know if this is true. I'm just going to pull this one out, but I think a lot of adults, including I find this, but it's hard to watch simplistic animation for an extended amount of time, right? And there's not the nuance there in the animation. It's not super dynamic. At times it is, but at other times it's not. The voice acting's fine. I like it enough. I didn't hate it, but I just wish that it was maybe just each episode was shortened a little bit to make it a little bit more punchy. But it's doing a great job of adapting the story, telling it faithfully. And I mean, the costumes are exactly like in the comic book. The art style even looks like Corey Walker's art, a little bit. And J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man is awesome. But it's just a little bit too draggy for me. And I don't mean that in a good RuPaul kind of way, but in a very boring kind of.
What does that mean? What does that mean? I missed something?
You should watch Drag Race. Really good show. They're in the middle of season 13 right now. It's good stuff.
I love cars.
Yeah.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Manuel, how about you? What did you think of it?
I absolutely love these first 3 episodes that I saw. I watch cartoons all day, and I was happy it was not Peppa Pig, because that's what's on at my house. What I like, and Robbie's absolutely right. We've seen origin stories done 100 times, and there's really nothing that special about Mark Gray, whatever his name is, Invincible. There's nothing too remarkable about his origin story. It's aside from this being a more adult slanted cartoon, it's still a pretty standard setup thus far. The thing that really gets me, the voice acting is really high quality. It does look like the comic book brought to life in animation, and the twist, the Omni-Man twist. I don't know how spoilery we're getting here, but I, as somebody who didn't read the comics, I didn't see that coming at all, and that was enough of a hook to get me into the next episode. The introduction of the what are they? The Teen Titan ripoff, whatever they are. Those characters all are really interesting. I enjoyed watching them. I'm a big Young Justice fan, and this kind of scratches that itch just a little bit of seeing those teen heroes. So I don't know. I really dug Invincible.
Do you like how that one dude's just called Robot?
Yep. Just Robot. That's Zachary Quinto, I think, too, isn't it? I love that dude. Love that dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And because of that particular character, it kind of gave it a Doom Patrol vibe in a certain way. But what did you think of it, Bueller?
I haven't really watched it. I only caught maybe half of one episode, and then I've seen the trailers and stuff like that. I actually don't have Amazon Prime at the moment. I think that's what it's on, correct?
Yeah.
And I never really read the book as well, so I really haven't been really wanting to see it because I'm not too familiar with what it is and stuff. But the part I did watch, they were trying out for the team or dividing the team or something like that. I don't know what it was, but I did notice right away the voice acting were some familiar people that I was, that guy's in it and stuff. Like one of the guys, he played Ralphie on the League, and which is actually one of my favorite TV shows, and he's voicing one of the main characters, and he's a crack up. I mean, he's just awesome voice, really identifiable, and he's right in there. So I really like that. I thought the animation was fine. I kind of agree with Robbie. It's just for how long they are, I kind of lose. That's really why I only watched a few minutes of it, to be honest. And I really didn't know what was going on. Something like about an affair. One of the guys cheated on his girlfriend or something like that. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know. But I did get this. Look at that.
Oh, a sewing kit.
Sewing kit. I don't know if this has any significance. But I got the Invincible sewing kit, and I got the buttons from my LCS. They were giving them away as a gift or something. But I think what I did last year when The Boys came out, I waited, and then I got Amazon Prime for the month, and then watched all The Boys episodes. So as soon as that comes out again or whatnot, I'll get Amazon Prime and then watch this show as well, along with The Boys, because I like that show also. But I'm just going to hold. I don't know how many episodes is it supposed to be. Do you know?
I don't. But true to Amazon Prime, it's probably 8 episodes long.
Okay,
that's what they've been averaging. And yeah, I mean, I agree with what everybody's saying. having never read the comic book, and yes, Robbie, you're exactly right. We've seen many origin stories, but watching that first episode, I found it to be charming. I liked the dialogue a lot, and it moved. So I wasn't too bothered by it. But you're right. As soon as we get to the end of that episode and see the hook, my jaw dropped, and I was like, okay, I'm on board for this ride, no matter what happens here, because that was freaking awesome. And so I absolutely loved it. True to Kirkman, Kirkman's an amazing writer, and I've heard nothing but good things about the Invincible series. And like I said, I never actually got to read the comic books before I hopped into the TV series. Everything I've heard, everybody said that it is faithful to the comic book, which I really love. One of the things that really intrigued me about the story was that alien race that kept coming back. I was cracking up so hard on these guys going back, and of course their time is different, so they figure out how to basically one up them and come back and invade again. And I love that aspect of it. I thought that was pretty amazing. And but the whole understanding of his dad being Omni-Man and what's really going on there, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out and what's really going on there. I thought that was a cool aspect of it. I love the voice actors. Of course, the main character is being played by the same guy that did Glenn in The Walking Dead. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, Steven something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, his dad is J. Jonah Jameson. I don't remember what his name is, but he's a
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal actor. And I think the first time I ever saw that guy was back on HBO. He was in the show Oz.
Oh, Schillinger. Oh, my God, right?
Freaking phenomenal character.
Wow.
That turned me on to just how great of an actor he really is. And then, of course, when they picked him for J. Jonah Jameson, that was like spot on.
Perfect.
I loved him inside of. There's a movie he's in with Tom Hanks where they're thieves trying to break into basically
Lady Killers.
Lady Killers.
The Coen Brothers film, yeah.
Loved him in that. So he's just a phenomenal actor, and to hear him voicing Omni-Man just brings a huge smile to my face. I really thought the production on it was really well done. For an animated series, I think you're right. It does need to be about 20 to 30 minutes long. In the second episode, I started finding myself getting a little fatigued because you're right. I don't think I can watch that, for too long. I even have problems watching the episodes. It took me a long time to get through Clone Wars just because of that very reason. But all in all, I think it surprised the hell out of me, and I'm enjoying it, and I can't wait to see where the rest of it goes. So, love it. Absolutely love it.
It's great.
It's great.
I don't think there are enough people walking the streets for me, but it's okay.
Could use a few more.
I wish it was like a little smaller on my screen too.
Because they're all upright, right?
Yeah.
That's the way it's going to be, huh, Robbie? That's the way it's going to be.
It's very bright too, Robbie. The color
It's too
palette
bright.
is
They should
super
saturate
bright.
the colors. Maybe even release a black and white version.
Well, now I'm really intrigued to get into the comic book, which as far as we're concerned, that's our favorite medium, right? And so I really want to get into actually reading what Kirkman laid down on the page, even as faithful as this is supposed to be. So I'm looking forward to getting into what I have and then beyond that.
Contrary to popular belief, my favorite medium is not comic books; it's radio dramas.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
He loves it.
No, I'm just joking.
Leave it to the imagination, Robbie.
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds by Orson Welles, though, is one of the best. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah, my favorite from radio dramas was always Inner Sanctum.
Nice.
That was like the best horror show on radio. That was your Twilight Zone and what the heck's the name of the other one? Outer Limits.
Yeah.
Outer Limits, and but before they had TV, and
Yeah, you remember those days, don't you, Bob?
No, not really. I listened to the recordings because my dad had them all.
Yeah. There's this there's some kind of troupe or whatever that does like this. They do like Lovecraft radio dramas based on Lovecraft stories, and they're amazing. I had a customer of mine let me borrow like a big bin of CDs of them, and just fantastic. We're boring Bueller though.
I could see that being actually amazing because when you read Lovecraft, he really plays on your imagination. And so having that in a radio setting, a telling of the story, I think that would be absolutely phenomenal. That's actually a clever idea. Well, cool. Does anybody have any final thoughts on Invincible before we move on?
Nope.
Has good music in it. Like their music choices of like modern songs are really good. They're very fitting, I think.
Interesting. I'm trying to think of yeah, and I don't
it's okay.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch again and check it out, or at least keep my ear open, right?
Yeah, go back and watch your own show again so you can see what happened.
Hey, I can do that, right?
Yeah.
Beauty of the internet. That was so frustrating. But all right, so Manuel,
Yes,
I'm going to have you kick us off on the last of our properties here, and that is Godzilla vs Kong, my friend. Give us your thoughts on it.
All right. Godzilla vs. Kong. I enjoyed it on the first watch. I enjoyed it less on the second watch. It is pure spectacle. As far as they turn your brain off and watch two kaiju fight movie, it works on that level. However, all of the human characters are underdeveloped. I don't even know who any of them are. I know that I'm supposed to recognize them from past films and things, but aside from 11, and only because she is 11, I don't recognize any of them. It fails to capture you on the human aspect, and for that reason, I went from really enjoying this movie to saying it was good. I'd watch it again begrudgingly, but that's about it.
All right. What do you think, Bueller?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not like a huge Godzilla King Kong fan. I watch the movies. They're not like must see for me. I don't get all excited, but I thought it was good. I think it's ironic that the main lead actor played Tarzan, and he is in the movie with King Kong. I think that's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys put that together, but I thought that was awesome. But the fight scenes were great. I like the fact that they kind of jumped right into it, and got the fight out at sea with the battleships, pretty quickly in the first act. Because that's kind of, I think I saw the first Godzilla movie with the one with Bryan Cranston in it, and like it took like forever to ever even get to a Godzilla moment, and that's kind of what I don't like. And I like the fact that they did it during the daylight, so you got to see everything. I thought that was pretty cool, because a lot of times they kind of mask some of the effects, in the darkness or something like that. But I thought it was good. I mean, I don't really know too much to say about this because I'm not like a huge fan of it, but for what it was, I stayed up that night to watch it, and watched it I watched the whole thing. So I must have liked it to watch the whole thing. So, yeah, it was fine. I thought the characters were okay. They really didn't, like Manuel said, they're not really significant in any way. They don't really do much, other than the girl, the deaf girl is probably the only one that really did anything. That's about it. But, yeah. There's a robot Godzilla in there too, I guess.
Spoilers.
Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay. We're doing full spoilers here.
They did a throwback to the scene where the original Godzilla versus King Kong, where King Kong shoves a tree down Godzilla's mouth. They did that with the axe. I thought that was kind of cool. And
Yeah.
actually, if you go back and you watch that original one, it's horrible, but it's so good. There's people just devastation all over the place. Towns, cities, all that stuff rolling around. It's wonderful. I don't know. How come King Kong's so big now? I don't know. Apparently they're friends now. You would think that like King Kong would ride Godzilla like a horse. I want to see that. I want to see them going into battle with a big old saddle, and like King Kong's riding the back of Godzilla, and then he's got his little axe. Going up against Voltron or something like that. That's the kind of movie I'm looking for. That'd be awesome.
All right.
I was like, you're wasting my time.
So they should ride each other because they're friends. I'm getting so many weird visual images of you and Sam right now, Bueller, that I don't want to know.
When I said that, I'm like, you know what? He's going to go that way. He's going to go that way.
I am.
He's going to put those two things together. And
light his little candle
right there.
Lowest common denominator, Bueller. That's what I'm all about.
How come Bob's not on that list? Me and Bob are friends.
All right, Bob, I can picture you in a saddle if that makes sense.
Hey, you know what? Don't even go there, bro.
At least I'm not wearing the saddle. That's all I care about.
Sam lights his little candle, and then it's all over there. After that.
And we're off to the races.
Love it. Robbie, what did you think of the movie?
I thought it was rather boring. I didn't like it at all. I mean, okay, it's got a couple things going for it. First of all, Godzilla versus King Kong. That's pretty dope, and it was way better. The fight was way better than it was in that original movie. That's really kind of like, let's be honest, that original movie's not good. Okay. The human element, of course, it's terrible. And I saw someone in the chat is like, you don't watch one of these films for the human element. I get that. But like, so then don't give us too much human element. And if you want to give us a human element, make it compelling. You've got King Kong versus Godzilla. They're delving into Hollow Earth ideas, and you've got Mecha Godzilla. There are three awesome things to craft around this. You got great talent, great actors. There's literally nothing in the script. Every human is just there to, I mean, it's just so boring to me, right? Like, I was like, I'm 30 minutes in this movie and it's dull. And then there was a fight and I thought that was okay. And then an hour into the movie, I'm like, this is dull. And then an hour and a half, I'm like, well, it's still dull, but at least it's going the way I think, because Kong's getting his ass kicked, right? And I think that's how it would go. Like, I've never thought it's been a contest. Everybody's always like, Kong versus Godzilla, who's going to win? I'm like, it's Godzilla, just based on size. And so they have to do the weird stretch of making him bigger. Like, and I think they set that up in his first movie. They're like, well, he's just an adolescent now in the 70s, right? And so he grows up. But really, I mean, the Hollow Earth stuff looked pretty, but I do not understand this like, and I read physics books. I'm not a physicist. I'm not a super smart person like that. But what is this gravity inversion? And if it's so terrible that it killed this dude's brother, why, when they get to Hollow Earth, they just jump out of the ship like everything's okay? I don't freaking get this, okay? It's a little strange to me. We know that it's an uneven match between Kong and Godzilla, even if they're the same size. So that's why they had to give him the vibranium axe, right? Because that's what that is. That's just vibranium, right? That was a weird stretch too. Mecha Godzilla to me looked terrible. So freaking bad. And it just like, I love that Godzilla was able to handle Kong. And I also hate that moment where they both get knocked out. And then that dude's like, Tarzan is like, I guess round 2 goes to Kong. What fight were you watching, bro? Kong didn't win a single one of those fights. And then Mechagodzilla comes in and just starts tearing ass through Godzilla. And then, I mean, I like the team up. It went the way but we know we don't watch these movies for the human element. And they're not going to give us 2 hours of just monsters fighting, you know? But can you try to make me care about the humans? Can you try to give it some emotional weight as far as they go? Millie Bobby Brown is only in here for one reason, to find Mechagodzilla. That's literally it. That connection she has to Godzilla, where's that? They paint Godzilla to be the villain too. And I don't really like that, but they do kind of undo that. And it kind of works out a bit. It's a beautiful looking film when they're fighting in Hong Kong. It looks gorgeous, right? But it's just kind of dull, just kind of boring. It takes too long to get to those more momentous scenes. And I don't know. I'll be honest with y'all. I think that the Matthew Broderick 1998 Godzilla is better than the last 3 Godzilla films, but that ain't saying much for me. So I did not like it. And I feel bad because I know a lot of people do. But and you're going to steal plot points from Congo? Whatever.
City of Zinj.
Well, for myself, I loved it. And I'll tell you why. Because when I was growing up as a kid, especially early 70s, there really wasn't much going for science fiction on the American front. There really wasn't. We had Star Trek, we had Logan's Run, and that was it. I mean, Silent Running, maybe Silent Green, you know, and I'll never forget watching TV as a kid and watching my first kaiju movie, which was War of the Gargantuas. And I was glued to the set, man, because the special effects was nothing like I was seeing in any other movie, even though I look at them now, they're cheesy, right? When I was a kid, they were freaking phenomenal. And from there, I just got into it all. I got into Godzilla. I got into Gamera. I got into Johnny Sacco and his flying robot. I mean, I love all the kaiju stuff that I grew up and cut my teeth on. And by the way, that's the stuff that eventually kind of formed a piece of my comic book reading later on. Why did I become such a comic book junkie when I finally was keyed into comics? It was because of things like kaiju movies. It was things like the Ray Harryhausen movies. It was, you know, the kung fu movies and the disparity with all these different skills that they were going at each other with. There were all these different things along the way that informed my comic book reading, and kaiju movies was one of those. I'll always have a special place in my heart for them. And when I was a kid, all that human element stuff, I never gave a crap about it. It was just fodder that I had to fight through to get to the scenes that I wanted to see, which was the monsters fighting. And that's the way it is now. You're never going to get any of these movies where the human element is great. I mean, the Matthew Broderick movie, they tried to do that. That wasn't a Godzilla movie to me. This was a Godzilla movie. I loved all the fighting between Kong and Godzilla. There were so many callbacks to stuff from when I was a kid. When I was watching those fights, I felt like I was a kid again, like a little time machine. And for that reason, I dug it. I've watched it twice so far. I don't care about the human element stuff. I never watch those movies for the human element stuff, but that stuff I'm on board with. When they came out with Pacific Rim, I was like a kid in a candy store, man. That was such a phenomenal, homage to what kaiju movies should be. And I kind of wish that they would have went that direction, with these movies. They didn't. But they stayed kind of true to what the originals were in the fact that they tried to come up with something human. Never worked in any of them. Except maybe Kong Island or Skull Island. There was more human element inside of that I actually cared about than any of these other movies. But really, when it comes down to it, how they played out the fights between Kong and Godzilla, I was on board. I've watched it twice already. I'll probably go back and watch it a third time just for those scenes until I get sick of it. But for that reason, it was higher on my list than it probably was on your guys's, just because it took me back to when I was a kid again. That's where I cut my teeth in getting into science fiction and just how great that genre is. So that was my take on it.
Great.
Much respect.
Thank you.
I will say one more thing is I watched Invincible right after I watched Kong versus Godzilla. Mm-hmm. So maybe that was one of the reasons why I didn't. I was already very annoyed. I understand that we don't watch these movies for the human element. Okay. Yeah. So then don't fill 2/3 of the movie up with it then. Right? Yeah. Like, I get it. You can't. I feel like the studio's like, well, we can't just make the whole movie Kong versus Godzilla. Y'all really could have literally done that, and I think we would have been fine. Like, we're craving for stuff right now. You know what I'm saying? But there's a way to do it. You had so many interesting ideas. The Hollow Earth and the scientist that lost his brother that's going for there. The woman with the child, the deaf kid that's learning to communicate with Kong. There's a lot of stuff that could work there. And the most emotionally resonant character in the film is Kong. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's cool. That's part of the Kong story. And by the way, I love the 70s Kong with Jeff Bridges. Mm-hmm. We're getting a Scream Factory of that in May. Just saying, get your pre-orders in right now so you get that slip, y'all. But it's just, that's a movie where you're able to do it with a human element that's compelling, that works, that's engaging, that's relatable. So that's the biggest problem with these new Godzilla films has been that, like, none of us, even the people that love these films, none of us say, "Oh, I love this movie because Millie Bobby Brown's character or Bryan Cranston's character or Wanda and Quicksilver were awesome." Like, that's not what we're like. Oh, the effects look great. Well, yeah, of course they do. They look amazing. I don't know.
And that right there, Robbie, is the point. Like, we refer to them as Millie Bobby Brown's character or 11 or Bryan Cranston's character. Like, we don't even know those characters' names in this, and they want us to give a crap. You know what I mean? This Monarch and Apex crap and the freaking Tesla tunnel thing that they use to get to Hollow Earth, all of that is like this building of this monster universe, and this is the science fiction angle they're playing out of it. The humans are better when they're just trying to survive. In King Kong, when they're just trying to survive on Skull Island, they're just trying to survive. Like, if we're going to put humans in, give us interesting humans just trying to survive this insane thing happening. Give us that instead of trying to use the humans as the main driver of the plot. I don't know. It's really frustrating that they haven't figured that out yet. Gareth Edwards' Godzilla, for all of its flaws, by focusing so much on the humans, at least it was grounded. At least I understood the dynamic of the family and what the story was trying to do. You know what I mean? This one, sure, it's giving us the kaiju, but it hasn't learned its lesson on the human side. So I don't know.
And what's crazy is there is a kaiju film out there that got a modern one in a way that has the human element right, and it's Cloverfield. Look at the difference. You know, like, you care. You feel like they're in danger. You're going along in the ride with them. And maybe that's part of it. Like, we don't see Godzilla necessarily from their perspective. We get to see it like we're playing a video game, you know, and maybe we don't feel the danger as much or whatever. And why is there always somebody in these movies who's like, I want to be the apex predator? Yeah. Life is good, but it can be better.
Alistair. Oh.
Alistair. Do you wish it? I renounce my wish. I don't want Godzilla vs Kong.
But the fight scenes were great, and that's why God has blessed us with YouTube. So you can just type in Godzilla vs Kong, all the fight scenes, and you can just watch those.
Yeah, that's like me with BVS, man. I'll type in that warehouse scene with Batman every single time. The rest of the movie I throw out.
Oh, but he kills people.
Oh, Batman kills somebody in every movie he's in. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've watched it. And Superman always kills Zod in the movies and in the comics.
Always. What's up with that?
Always. Christopher Reeve can kill Zod, but Henry Cavill can't. Come on.
So I know that we're getting close to the end here because I know Robbie's got to go on to his next live stream. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to go on a round table here. And what I'd like to get is your final grade on each of the properties that we just watched. And so so the first one is WandaVision. Robbie, what would you give? What grade will you give that as a final grade?
5 you digs, which is a perfect score.
5 you dig. So I would guess that would be an A.
Yeah.
5 stars. All right, 5 you digs. There you go. Bueller.
What?
What would you give WandaVision as your final grade, my friend?
I give it a B-.
B-. How about you, Manuel?
I'm gonna give WandaVision 5 backlogs, which are very similar to an A.
All right. Yeah, I myself give it an A-. I think it was absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's go on to the Snyder Cut. Manuel, what do you give the grade on that one?
I'm gonna give the Snyder Cut I'll give it an A-.
A-. Bueller.
I'll give it a C-.
C-. I myself, I will give it a B-. Robbie?
I give it 4 you digs, which is the equivalent of a B.
There we go. I love it. All right, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Bueller.
That's an A. That's my favorite one.
There we go. Manuel?
I'm going to give that a solid A.
Solid A. Robbie?
I would give it a solid 4.5, which is the equivalent of an A.
Yeah.
All right. And I myself, I give it a straight A. I think it's phenomenal. All right, let's go on to Invincible. Bueller, what do you get? Well, you've only watched half an episode. So
yeah.
Of the half an episode that you watched, what grade would you give it?
Well, I'll put it this way. I'm curious to watch the rest. So it did that much for me.
Okay, I'll give it one of those old school satisfactories. How about that? Robbie, what is your grade on it?
I'll give it a 3.5 you digs, which is a C+.
C+. All right, Manuel.
I'm going to give Invincible a B-.
I myself also give it a B-. And then Godzilla vs Kong. I'm going to give this one, for me, it's a B. Robbie?
I give it 1 you dig, which is the equivalent of an F.
Manuel?
I'm gonna give it 3 backlogs, which is a C-, I believe.
C-.
I don't know the exchange rates between you digs though.
There we go.
Your
And
digs are worth more.
I'll give it a C+.
C+. There you have it. So that's what we thought about the show. I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys. It is always an absolute pleasure. And look, we got some great content last month. I couldn't go on without doing something and talking about it. And I'm glad that we were able to hang out. We had Jason for a little while. It was good to have him on. Manuel, I've never had John before. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bueller, always good to hang out with you. I will be seeing you the day after tomorrow. And then Robbie, thank you for joining, my friend. Love you guys. Appreciate you. You guys in the chat, thank you very much for joining tonight. I really appreciate you guys being here. Tune in this weekend. I'll be dropping another review video. And I will also be on Bueller's channel for the brand new Coffee and Comic Show. Robbie, let us know what you got going on this weekend.
Well, we got right as soon as this ends, join us over at Pop Culture Philosophers for Rock and Robbie Live with Comics Will Break Your Heart. So I get to chat with Jennifer. That's going to be fun. Then we're going to be kind of silent on PCP for the weekend because I'm at the Comic and Pop Culture Expo. But Dylan's Horror Show does continue on Saturday evening. Jay Strick's going to be the guest host. I will not be there. They're going to be talking about the movie The Empty Man.
All right.
But I do want to announce that I got Michael Morisi confirmed today to be on Pop Culture Philosophers May 27th. So.
Sweet. Awesome stuff. Looking forward to your interview with Dan Waters as well, my friend.
Oh, me too. They're conversations, though.
There we go. Manuel, what do you got going on, my friend?
Oh, I've got my normal Chimorro show stuff happening on Tuesday, but more importantly, Sunday, TM Nerdy and Big Herm will be having their Let's Talk About It show. So definitely sub them up, be in that chat. That is great. And Fable and I have a collaboration on his channel with a dope beat he made called Computer Love. Be sure to check that out as well.
Pretty awesome stuff. Bueller, what do you got going on, my friend?
I'm drinking some coffee on Monday morning, and that's about it.
There we go. All right. Well,
one more thing. Tomorrow night, I'm on Comic Book Canon. So,
Comic Book Canon.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Central. So I'll be there with Jeff and somebody else. Anyway, Comic Book Canon. I'll be there, 8 p.m.
Awesome stuff. Well, appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Really appreciate you guys supporting the show. And hey, we're going to be doing more of this going forward, but I really appreciate you all being here. Remember to support your local comic shop, everybody, and Excelsior. We will see you later.
Stay tuned.